bringing it all to peace. The storm surrounding me, let it break at your name. Still, call the sea to still, the rage in me to still, every wave at your name. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Breathe, call these bones to live, call these lungs to sing once again. I will praise Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, 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 your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Coffee Time with St Mary's.
And a special thank you to those who are joining us for the very first time. It would be lovely to have your company every week, because these coffee time slots are all about you, the church family.
Yeah, that is so right, because we introduced this Coffee Time programme early in the lockdown because so many of you were telling us how much you missed the opportunity of having coffee with one another and a catch up after the service had finished, finding out how things are with one another, seeing smiling faces and enjoying a nice warm hug.
Well, unfortunately, we can't offer a physical hug today, but why not give yourself one right now and know without a doubt that there are scores of your friends watching who are sending you a sincere virtual embrace.
That's right. Anyway, from today, you've noticed that there's no need to press a separate link to join Coffee Time. It will flow naturally now from the end of the Sunday services. However, we also know that many of you are sharing Coffee Time with your friends. And so if you want to have a separate YouTube link just for Coffee Time, contact us and we will send it right back to you.
Coming up in coffee time this morning, we have a special greeting from our mission partners, Steve and Maria King, serving the Lord with Bethel in Birmingham.
We've also got a chance to find out more about our amazing sister, Priscilla Gurney.
And an expose of strange happenings going on in Berkhamsted Road.
Jeden Morgen das gleiche Problem, pünktlich für die Arbeit aufzustehen. Der Schlaf ist so süß und schön, warum muss mein blöder Wecker mich stören? Hab grad von der Schiffer geträumt, jetzt hab ich den besten Teil versäumt. Schatz, ich werd nicht wissen, wie es weiterging, nun fang ich an zu singen.
During the lockdown, we've been renovating the garden. I'm not a very good gardener, but I bought some rhubarb and I believe it needs to go in some very deep pots because it's got long roots. So I decided to get some tyres and jolly them up with some white paint, and then we're going to put some designs on them. The tyres reminded me of Munsterville because we used a lot of white paint when we were creating the crisis centre. Also, when you looked around the school, there was a lot of tyres used in the playground, for steps, and they were very bright and colourful. It got me thinking, that and the weather, it's so hot, it got me wondering what all those people were doing during lockdown, how they were coping in those tiny little shacks, already so hot and crowded. It made me want to almost cry, the thought of all the luxuries we have here, and we moan about being locked in our homes. It made me want to pray as well.
Well, this is lovely, Priscilla, being able to sit in your garden, socially distanced, but at least we're able to meet together in this way now that the lockdown restrictions have been lifted a little bit. How have you been coping with the lockdown situation, being away from family and friends?
Well, surprisingly well. I mean, there's been a lot to do. The weather's gorgeous and one can do things in the garden. I've had a lot of phone calls and FaceTime things, Zooms. I've been looking at people over the hedge that I know. It's been lovely to see some church people coming past. And it's just been a blessing, really, having the extra time and space to do things. It's been lovely.
Good, that's great. Now, some people in St Mary's know that previously you were a missionary. Now, I guess you probably weren't born a missionary, so how did you know that this was the right path for your life?
Well, I probably was born a missionary, almost. I was born of missionary parents in Burma, and had to evacuate when the Japanese overran Burma in 1942. So I was just a baby then, child.
Yeah.
And but I think I was probably about 3 when my brother laughed at me for wanting to be the fairy on top of the Christmas tree. So I thought the next best thing was to be a missionary nurse.
Wow.
And my father was a surgeon, a doctor, so, you know, I knew about missionaries and nurses and so on. But God's kept that in my heart all my life. All my life. I never wavered from wanting to do that. And I think he sort of developed that call in me, knowing that that's what he wanted me to do. Throughout my training and everything, I was focused on doing that. Although there was a time when I was starting midwifery training that I was beginning to feel that I wanted to be married with children and not be a single missionary. I knew too many single missionaries, and wonderful as they are, I just wanted to have a family. So I was kind of holding back on God and saying, you know, well, I'll wait a bit longer, it's not my time yet. But I was very deeply challenged at Keswick one year, And so I recommitted my life to God and said, well, whatever you want, if I'm single or married, I'll do what you want. And that sort of affirmed my belief that was my calling. And then it was very soon after that I met Robbie, my husband-to-be. So it was, I've found so many times that when I have thought I was giving up something for God, he's given back in greater measure, and it's been wonderful. That verse, God is no man's debtor, really has meant a lot to me in my life. But I have to be genuine about giving up something. It's not, well, I'll give that up and then he'll give me something better. He knows my heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I mean, many missionaries that I have known have told of dark times as well as times of breakthrough and great joy. In the dark times that you have experienced, have you ever doubted God's call or that Jesus was with you?
I don't think doubt so much as sort of held back. I know we were for 4 years in Tanzania and then came back on leave, and we felt that we needed to go to a different place because Robbie, my husband, was very passionate about being a pioneer missionary, to go where people hadn't already been working. And there was an opportunity for us to go to the north of Kenya with our mission that we've been with already. And it was going to be a very lonely and isolated place. We were going to be the only white people there, apart from some Roman Catholic nuns who were about 2 miles away from us. It was right in the north of Kenya on the Ethiopian border. And I was very unhappy about the prospect, and by then we had our family of 3. And I just sort of lost my peace. I didn't doubt God's call, I just wasn't willing to do it for a while. And then I just thought, well, God is calling me, he knows my needs, he knows what challenges we're going to face. And if I'm to believe in him and trust in him, then I just need to give it to him. And it was incredible when I was able to pray, God, you called me to this and I'm willing to go. The peace that I got after that was incredible. And the time in this place, Moyale, was really one of the happiest that we had experienced. We were there for 7 years altogether. We came on leave once during that time, but so there again, I'd given it to God and said, it's up to you, Lord, and he'd really blessed us amazingly. So just have thanks and praise for him.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Priscilla. That was so encouraging. It's been lovely to get to know your story a bit more. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to remember these things and God's faithfulness. That's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it really does seem to be the time of year for big birthdays. And we've got 2 to mention this week. Peter Wilde will be 95 on Tuesday, 26th of May, and Derek Chandler from St John's Bellington will be 80 next Friday, 29th. So a very happy birthday and congratulations to Peter and Derek. Please continue to pray for Tony Starkey, having blood tests this week in preparation for his chemotherapy. And please do pray too for those involved in education at the moment, both teachers and parents of school-aged children. There are lots of people involved in education in our church. People like Janice Milne, who's a school nurse, and so many others wrestling at the moment with how they can open classrooms and yet maintain social distancing. Let's also pray for parents worried at this time and unsure whether it's safe to send their children back to schools and nurseries. Lastly, as you might expect, I had a marvellous response from all you lovely people wanting to help with the meal for the men being cared for by the New Hope charity. There's been a lot of potato peeling and carrot chopping being done, and the meal will be finally prepared and delivered tomorrow. So a big thank you to all those who've been donating, shopping, chopping, and those who will cook tomorrow. I know it will be much appreciated.
So now to our mission focus when we look at our world, and in particular looking at the work of our mission partners in different parts of the world. First of all, we're going to go over to Birmingham, not that far away, but actually in many ways it could be a completely different world. The world in which Steve and Maria King served the Lord Jesus with people that are struggling from addiction. We've supported them as a church for quite a while now, and they just want to give us a personal greeting.
Hello everybody from Pastoral UK Birmingham. We hope everybody is well during this uncertain time. We are well here. Interacting with people in our community is difficult, but we're pressing on and doing the best we can. We stopped taking new residents for a while, but we'll resume that at the beginning of next month. Over to you, Maria.
So, we are so grateful for your support, and just if you could be praying for our men and women who many of them haven't seen their families and especially their children for a number of months now, which is really hard. So if you could be praying for them, that would be really great. The men and women are doing incredibly well, considering it's really a challenging time for everybody, isn't it? So, but particularly working through the issues that they're dealing with, it's just really encouraging seeing them press into finding out more about the Lord and encouraging one another. But we're also getting calls in daily for new residents, so if you could be praying for wisdom for our leadership as we seek to welcome in new people as well as protecting those who are here. We miss you all and are really looking forward to seeing you when we're able to get down to St Mary's. And thank you so much for your continued support and for all your prayers for us. We're so really grateful. Take care and God bless. Thanks. Bye now.
And it was really hard doing this, by the way. We did about 15 takes before we got it right, but I hope it's right anyway. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Blessings. Bye.
Thank you so much. Lovely to hear from Steve and Maria. Just after we got that clip in, we had a postscript, and we're going to bring that to you now.
Hi St Mary's, just as an added extra, we forgot to mention that we're live streaming our talks on Friday nights and also Sunday mornings on our Battelle UK Facebook page. So if you would like to be encouraged by our worship as well as preaching by men and women who are leadership within Battelle UK, or also some of our trustees, then you'd be welcome to come and join us. We look forward to hopefully hearing from you. Okay, take care now, bye.
So thank you. That's Steve and Maria King from Battelle in Birmingham. Steve and Maria, if you're watching, we just want to send you a wave of love from the church family at St Mary's. We look forward to seeing you again before too long, but it's been lovely to see you this morning. You are very much in our prayers, and we thank God for all you're doing amongst the men and women there in Battelle in Birmingham. God bless you. Now we're going to turn to a report from CSW, that's Christian Solidarity Worldwide. But first, just a word to our mission champions and others that just may be wondering why it is that CSW seem to get mentioned every week and other mission societies don't get mentioned. Well, let me say that I can only pass on to you through this mission focus what I receive. And every week I get something from Sheila, and I would love to hear from our other mission partners, because the church family are asking me what is happening with, I won't mention names, but what is happening with the different organisations that we support, and how are they coping with COVID-19 in their mission society and in the countries and the places where they operate. So please let us have more information so that we can pass it on. But we'll be faithful to our dear friend Sheila, who sent me this report yesterday, or a couple of days ago. It says here, this is dated the 15th of May, comes from the news department at CSW. And I'll read you the first little bit and then give you a précis of it. Is a little bit complicated, so please stick with it. CSW has called on the government of Nepal to drop all charges against Pastor Keshav Raj Ankaria of the Abundant Harvest Church in Pokhara, who was arrested on the 23rd of March, amid concerns for his well-being. His case highlights serious concerns regarding the rule of law in Nepal. Now, just to give you a bit of the background here, because I've read this report and I think I've figured out what it's saying. The pastor was arrested in March, as we know, 23rd of March, after the police said that a video of him saying that coronavirus could be healed through Christian prayer was posted on YouTube on the 22nd of February. The pastor categorically denies uploading any such video. But according to the pastor's wife, Yuna, the pastor was arrested after a man called his home and said his wife was suffering from coronavirus. Could he come round so that the pastor could pray with him for his wife? So they set up a meeting. This man turned up, I think a stranger, and as soon as he arrived, a whole bunch of police came in and arrested the pastor and took him off. The plot thickens. What then happened is that the pastor was taken to the police station and he was charged with misleading the public about the virus. He was released on bail that was set at 5,000 Nepalese rupees, that's about £34, and he was released a few days later. However, he was rearrested on the same day on charges of outraging religious feelings and attempting to convert under section 156 and 158 of the Nepalese Penal Code. Following the new charges, the bail amount went up from 5,000 rupees to £500,000 rupees. That's £3,400, which may not seem a huge amount to you, but for a poor pastor in that part of the world, this is an absolute fortune. And of course, he was not able to post that bail. But after a while, after a few weeks, his wife was able to post that bail money. She was supported by others in doing so. And then on that same day, as they accepted the bail had been paid, the £500,000 rupees, he was rearrested again, and this time sent into custody in a place in a remote part of Nepal where there is no transportation, no ability to get to him, and very little access for anyone to actually find out exactly what is going on. Now, I'm going to cut to this. So you see the plight that this pastor is in, and his case is not, sadly, unique. But I just want to read you the comments from Mervyn King, who's the Chief Executive of CSW, and he says, "We are deeply concerned about the handling of this case and the precedent that it is setting. Nepal is seeing a growing trend in state-backed intolerance towards religious minorities who should be able to practice, promote and propagate their religion. The Penal Code has clearly emboldened state actors to behave in a biased way. We urge the authorities to re-evaluate their action and drop charges against Pastor Keshav. CSW also calls on the international community to encourage Nepal, as a member of the UN Human Rights Council, to respect its international commitments to protect and promote freedom of religion and belief under Article 18 of the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights." So that is their international position, to promote and protect freedom of religion. Clearly this case indicates that that is not happening. So let us use our freedom, let us use our opportunity to pray earnestly before God for Pastor Keshav, but also for all prisoners of conscience and those that are suffering in prisons throughout the world simply because they are followers of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, sadly, that is all we have for you for this week.
However, next week, don't forget to come back, because we're hoping to bring you an interview with a Christian businessman from our church, exploring the difference that Jesus makes in the world of commerce. We might also even have a taste of Scottish country dancing.
Oh, something to look forward to there. Well, don't forget that without your contributions, coffee time can't happen. So please share with your brothers and sisters what's going on in your life right now.
In the meantime, over this week, keep loving one another, stay alert, and know that Jesus is coming again.